Breaking tonight, new reaction coming in after President Obama travels to the site of America's worst terror attack since 9/11 and meets with some of the families affected. After those meetings, the president walked to the cameras, I should say, and spoke for roughly 18 minutes. He mentioned the families, he praised the first responders, and he spoke at length about the fact that many of the victims were gay. But he spent almost half of the speech, 7.5 minutes, talking about gun control. No new security plans, no additional resources for the FBI, no steps to make sure the next one doesn't slip through the cracks like Mateen did. Instead, we got this.
We can't anticipate or catch every single deranged person that may wish to do harm to his neighbors or his friends or his co-workers or strangers. But we can do something about the amount of damage that they do. Unfortunately, our politics have conspired to make it as easy as possible for a terrorist or just a disturbed individual like those in Aurora and Newtown to buy extraordinarily powerful weapons, and they can do so legally.
Joining me now, Dr. Charles Krauthammer, Fox News contributor and author of the best-selling book, Things That Matter. Charles, good to see you. So the message there was, look, we can't catch every deranged person that wants to commit mass murder, but we can limit the damage they do. The president seems to have moved past the notion of stopping the homegrown terrorists. He didn't announce one thing that will change to stop them. He's only focused on the push for legislation to limit, in his mind, the guns that they have access to. Your thoughts?
Well, if you had his record on foreign policy, on combating terrorism, you too would want to change the subject to what, in this particular case, Orlando, is a complete irrelevancy. I mean, Obama is making a category error deliberately. He wants to lump this in with the Sandy Hook shootings, Aurora, which he mentioned, as if it's some kind of crazy person without a motive who goes ahead and shoots. Now, the problem is that you got to ask yourself, is Orlando more akin to those, or is it more akin to the Boston Marathon, which he did not mention? The reason he didn't is because there was no gun involved. It was done by other means. And yet it is obvious that this is akin to the Boston Marathon. In fact, the killer himself in Orlando expressed solidarity not just with ISIS, but with the Tsarnaev brothers of the Boston Marathon. That's the category we are dealing with. The reason Obama doesn't want to talk about that and will segue as quickly as he can to gun control is because of his record fighting ISIS.
But domestically, Charles, other than saying you're going to see a greater presence of law enforcement around the country perhaps in the coming weeks because, you know, they've threatened that they want to kill us during the month of Ramadan, which ends July 5th. Nothing like we're going to double down on our efforts to stop these guys in terms of Facebook and Twitter and what they do online. We're going to increase our FBI resources. I'm going to have a meeting with Director Comey and talk about how many more bodies he needs to track somebody like this guy in Orlando who was on the radar but was left alone despite all the warning signs.
Well, look, I agree with you on that, but we can harden this country as much as we want. We're 300 million people. We're the most open society on earth, and we have a choice. If we want to make it into an armed camp, I'm sure we can reduce the number of these incidents by quite a lot. The fact is that we don't, and we can't allow that to happen. This war has to be fought overseas. The only way to defeat them, the only way to prevent the recruitment, and this was not active recruitment. From what we know, it looks like somebody inspired by. What are they inspired by? They are inspired by the ideology, and they are inspired by the fact that the jihadist ISIS, the Islamic warriors, are on the march, and they are winning. All the messianic movements that we know of the last century, Nazism, communism, fascism, and now jihadism, thrived on expansion, success, and the promise ultimately of world victory. The minute you are able to throw them back, to make them retreat, or to destroy them in their sanctuaries, that appeal disappears. I'm not sure you could do anything on Twitter or online in the absence of that will make a difference in recruitment.
Well, I don't know if you're right about that. I mean, I think all the experts have come on and said what you just said, that ISIS needs to be destroyed. It needs to be humiliated. We need to make people embarrassed at the thought of taking up their cause. But there's absolutely more that can be done. In particular, the coordination between the feds and the local law enforcement. This guy should have been on the local law enforcement's radar. 2 encounters with the FBI, not enough for an arrest, enough to get the cops involved and let them know this is somebody you want to keep your eye on.
There's only so much interviewing you can do, only so many potential jihadists out there. The no-fly list has 800,000 Americans. We don't have the resources to be able to investigate, which is why, yes, I agree with you. If you coordinate more, you might reduce the number of incidents. But in the end, the only way to win this war is by defeating them where they are.
We might need to devote more resources. We're paying millions of dollars for shrimp to run on a treadmill, right? So there could be a reallocation. I got to leave it at that. Charles, great to see you.